Hi everyone, this is Sheshe. Today I'm coming on to do a Friday Flowers, this highly requested video on how I made these pretty flowers with this embellishment. I picked this die up from Alina Crafts. It's so pretty and it is back in stock. So you guys wanted to know how I made this, so I am going to do a video since I had so many requests. So this is the die set that I use. It has 3 pretty flowers, and also I use this vine, and I'll share with you some other dies that I use to make this card if you want to know at the end. Okay, so this is the little embellishment that I use for this card. And I'll also show you how I did the little vine too at the end. Alright, so I have all my little flowers. And I'll do a couple sizes. Now when you're making these flowers, I use a double layer mat. Okay, so I have 2. And I'm using the Heartfelt Creations Deluxe Flower Shaping Kit. I have the nibs 4mm and 5mm. Okay, and the 5mm size I use for the large flowers, and then the medium size I'll use for the smaller, the 4mm for the smaller flowers. So I'm going to get started. I'm not going to use any water to wet my flowers. I'm just going to do dry embossing. So this will be, because the flowers are so small, to drench them would probably ruin them. So I'm going to flip them over. I'll also use some of these gold microbeads. I get them from Michael's, but you can use whatever you wish to embellish your centers. I just like them because they're pretty. Okay, so I have a lot of these. These shouldn't take long, and I use some glue to glue them together. So I'll just flip a lot of these over. And for the smaller ones, we don't really need to flip them over. They don't really need much embossing, so I'll show you what I do with those. Okay, this is the 5mm nib that I use. When you're using the double layer mats, you want to press really deep when you're doing the embossing. That will get you a really nice cup, and it'll make your flowers look very realistic. So I hope you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, so as you can see, I pressed really hard to emboss. And by having that double layer, it really cupped it up a lot when I pressed. And if you're having trouble with that, that is why, because you need more cushion. So I'll flip them over, and then I'll press really hard in the center and do that. Okay, and this will give me that look when you're gluing them together, and you get more dimension. Okay, I'm going to do another one, and once you get the hang of it, you'll go faster. So I'm just going really slow so you can see what I'm doing. And you'll see I'm getting a really dimensional look by having 2 layers of the foam or cushion. If you don't have this, you can flip your mat over and do a double layer, but I have 2 layers, so I don't have to do that. So what I mean when I say flip it over, I mean like do your mat in half like this, and then emboss your flowers, and that'll give you a double layer. So I'm going to get back to doing the second layer of the flower, and I'm going to emboss all of these before I put the microbeads in the centers, so you can see I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I apologize if my voice sounds a little short. I've been talking a lot, so a lot of these videos are recorded back to back to back. But I'm trying my best to get them out. So here is the middle flower. And I used the 5mm to emboss it, but you can use the 4mm. So I'm going to switch the nibs so you can see the different looks. So here is the different nib for this one. You want to try to go with a nib that is about the same size as your petal, and that'll give you a different look. Scoot this one over. And see, this one gets a little bit deeper impression than the first one because the nib was a little bit smaller. So I got a deeper cup than these two. So you just want to make sure you're using the right nib. But it just depends on how deep you want your flowers to be embossed. Okay, so that should probably be enough. Let's see, I got 2 layers of each. Let me go with 2 more big sizes, and then I'll do one of the little ones. So I flipped it back over to the 5mm. So we're just pressing really hard and embossing. Again, dry embossing, not wet. Flipping these over and get that nice cup shape. Moving on to the next one. These aside over here. Alright. Then we'll glue these together. And we'll put some microbeads in the centers, like so. Okay, so we got 2 of these. Each layer of my flowers will have 2 layers. So I have 2 of these and 2 of the middle size, and then here are the 2 small ones, like that. So I'm going to switch over to the 4mm. I mean, you could really go smaller, but I don't have to. I'm just going to do like this because I don't really need too much dimension on these. And that's all you need to do to get that size right there. And we'll double layer that. And then I'll just get 2 more over here and do that. Because it's really not much you can do with this one. Because they'll just be kind of like flat. Okay. So I got this glue here, and we're just going to layer these together. And offset them. So you just want to flip it over and make sure it's offset, and that means that you want a petal in between the petals. Okay, and then to make sure they're adhered properly, you can use your stylus and press it down, and then that makes sure the glue is adhered to the flower. So that's one. So look how pretty that's starting to form. And then we'll do this one, give it some glue on the back, and then put some flower in between. You just flip it over and make sure there's flowers in between each other. Okay, and then take that stylus, press it down, do a little bit of embossing, and it's cupped up like that. Kind of twist it a little bit just to make sure it's a little bit more offset. Okay. And there you go. Alright, so we'll set that one aside, and then we'll do the middle flowers. These are so cute. And just a little bit of dimension changes the look of the flower. And then when you add the flower centers, it really makes it look so cute. Okay, I'm going to give this one a little bit of glue. And press that one down with my stylus. And then for these flowers, doesn't take much. Just a little bit of glue. And there you have it. And really these will just probably flatten out a little bit more. Okay, and here's the last two. Alright, so now I'm going to get my tray and my microbeads and my little spoon. Okay. Alright, for this part, it's really simple. Just add a little bit of glue in the center, about as much as you want your little beads to attach to the glue. Like so. For the little small ones, I try not to go too much. Just like a dot. Glue. Try to get in the center as much as possible. This one I missed the center. Let's see if we can get back in the center over here. We'll fix that. So just get my little tiny spoon. Cover up the centers with the microbeads. Okay, and then once you get the beads in, I just take the flower and tap it back in like that, so there's less spillage in the tray. These microbeads will probably last me forever, and I have quite a bit of these containers. Okay, this one I'll have to fix. We'll put that one aside. I didn't like that one. But there you have it. The little tiny flowers are so cute. Alright, and we'll set these aside to dry while we work on the embellishment with the vines. So this is how it looks. And then any extra micro beads that kind of slid in the crevices, we'll just get those out. Okay. Alright. So the next part is this little die cut right here, and then these little vines that you can put on your embellishment. So I just take my glue and glue it on here. I need a piece I need to poke out. Don't need much glue to adhere it down. Just a little bit of glue. So we'll just take this little piece and we'll just stick it. See, I got a little strand here from the cut. So we'll just take this little piece and we'll just stick it down for right now, like this. That'll be our main focal point. Okay, then you want to see how you want to run it. So then we'll have one piece going this way, and then we'll cut off one piece with the scissors. So I'll have one vine going off the edge like that, and so I just kind of eyeball it with my scissors, and we will stop it at this little point right here and cut it, and then we'll just glue that on. So I'm just going to give this a cut right about there, and then we'll just glue that piece on and it'll stop right about there. And that's how you make your embellishment. Just have a whole bunch of vines running, and then you glue your flowers on top of the vines, and it just looks really pretty. Then you can make your card. So this is what I have so far. And then the piece that I cut, and take that and find another position for it on your embellishment. Or if you can find another area where the whole piece can fit, then do that. Or if it looks better a different way, turn it and have it go in a different direction. Like so. That looks good that way. So that's what I'll do. And then any areas that need a flower, you just cover that up. I cut out 4, to cover up this particular die cut. but you do whatever you wish. But that's the main thing you're doing, is just taking what you see and cutting it and placing it where you want it, or where you think it might look good, or so I like this one right here, and I'll glue that one down. So that's how it comes together. And this little piece can come right here or right here and cover up that spot. So you're using up every single piece that you've cut out to cover up this little circle. And then whatever you don't use, you can save it for another day. All right. So that looks good, and we'll glue on the flowers where you want them. And your embellishment is done. Just place them where you think you might like them. Now each embellishment is different. So I'll need one more flower, but I'll have to make it for this little vine right here, but it looks really pretty how it is. I'll zoom out just a little bit. But that's how you make it, and I hope this video was helpful. I'll show you my original card. Let's see if I can zoom out more. And how that turned out. Okay. Really, really pretty. So there you have it. And what I use for this little doily piece, here's that little vine I just showed you. Here's the original flowers. And here is the die set for the little circle scallop, and here is the doily piece in gold that goes behind it. Okay, if you need any of the products, I'll link them in the description box below. They're all inexpensive. So take care, and I hope you have a fabulous day.